Call the August 1st meeting, a day early, of the Augusta County School Board to order. And the first thing we'll do is we'll do our pledge to the flag, so if you'll stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First thing on our agenda tonight is the consent agenda. And hopefully you've had a chance to look at that. And if you have any questions concerning the consent agenda, and we will need a motion to approve consent agenda.
No changes or anything?
Pardon me?
Nothing changed. No changes?
There's no changes, so. Okay, no changes.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I second it.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0. Delegations. Mr. Childs, has anyone signed up? Okay. We will move along to correspondence. Dr. Bond.
Yes, sir. I just have one this evening, and I do want to read it to you because it's complimenting one of our staff members that we're very proud of. This letter came from Jennifer Wetzel, who is the Deputy County Administrator for Augusta County Board of Supervisors. And she writes, Dr. Bond, I'm writing to express my sincere gratitude for Melissa Meyerhofer's exceptional contribution to our recent Enterprise Resource Planning, otherwise known as ERP, implementation project. And what that basically is the Tyler Munis package that the county has purchased and we're implementing. It does all of our accounting, all of our payroll for the entire county, including the school board. Ms. Wetzel went on to say her dedication and expertise have been invaluable to our team throughout the project. From the onset, Melissa demonstrated an impressive understanding of our ERP requirements and proactively took on various responsibilities, including setting up a large chart for accounts, working to decentralize school businesses process, and working with IT to create users, roles, workflows. Her proactive approach and ability to collaborate effectively with different teams and stakeholders ensured that the project continued to progress. Moreover, Melissa consistently displayed high professionalism and initiative, often going above and beyond the expectations to troubleshoot issues and to propose innovative solutions. Her ability to handle challenges and propose solutions has significantly boosted team morale during what has been a challenging transition period. Thanks to Melissa's efforts, we have gone live on the first of several ERP implementations. The knowledge and insights she shared will continue to benefit our organization well into the future. Her contribution to this project exemplifies the core values of the schools and serves as a benchmark for others to follow. Please join me in recognizing her commitment and hard work. Sincerely, Jennifer Wetzel, Deputy County Administrator. I just wanted you to hear that. It was a very, very, very nice letter, and I think Mr. Lotz can also testify the fact that this has not been an easy task, and what Melissa has led and our other accountants and finance staff have led, as well as our personnel have led, has been remarkable. So hats off to Melissa. She's a great employee and great person. We're glad we have her part of our team. That's all I have, sir.
Yes, sir. That sounds like she was a very valuable asset.
Yes, sir.
And certainly congratulations and thanks to her. Okay. School crisis plan, Dr. Ball.
Good evening. All of our school crisis plans have been updated by their administrative teams for the upcoming school year. The plans have been reviewed by staff at central office. They mirror our school safety audit, which is an assessment of the safety conditions in each public school. I appreciate you guys taking the time this evening to come and review those as well. I will ask for your approval, and once they are approved, the updated plans will be distributed electronically to appropriate personnel, including our Sheriff's Department, Fire and Rescue, Emergency Communications Center, and our Maintenance Department. They will include revised and updated maps. We have new vestibules in our schools. Obviously, we have 2 new middle schools, so we're working to have those CRG maps updated. So the plans that we share out with those entities and agencies will include up-to-date maps for future use. We appreciate the careful work of our school-based crisis response teams as they made their annual updates, and I will request your approval of those crisis plans, please.
Are there any questions for Dr. Ball regarding the crisis plan? They were available for inspection,
Yes, sir.
and they will be available
In my office.
in Dr. Ball's office if you want to look at them at any time.
Yes, sir.
Any questions for Dr. Ball? And we will need a motion to approve the school crisis. Can't even talk. The school crisis plan.
I make a motion that we approve, we accept and approve the school crisis plans as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the school crisis plan. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Just an update related to school safety. All of the weapons detectors that we discussed at the last meeting have been delivered. They were set up, and thanks to Mr. Troxell's staff, they're in our schools. So the weapons detectors are in place at our secondary schools and ready for use August 7th.
That is all middle and all high, right?
All middle and all high, yes, sir.
Okay.
And they're there permanently. Additionally, our principals are working with our school resource officers to provide training on our emergency response plans to those staff members who are new last year and did not participate in the training that we did division-wide last fall. So they're keeping up with that school by school. Wanted you to be sure to be aware of that as well. May I move on to school fundraisers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In your notebooks, you have a folder containing a copy of the school fundraisers that were submitted by principals for this coming school year. As principals plan for the completion of fundraisers, they're mindful of our school board policies 4.810 that address the sale of competitive foods in our schools, and policy 6.19 that addresses fundraising campaigns in our schools and expressly prohibits door-to-door solicitation by our elementary age students. Each planned fundraiser has an adult sponsor who's either an employee of the school or an adult member of the school's parent organization. Occasionally, schools do revise and add to this list, so I'll ask for your approval as they are tonight. If I hear from a principal that they've added fundraisers, then we'll get that revision before you for your future approval. But at this time, I am asking for your approval of what's in your folder tonight.
And these are basically the same types of fundraisers we've been dealing with for years.
Yes, they are very consistent year after year, and a combination of those led by the parent organization at the elementary level, and then some school-based and school-specific fundraisers. You can see there's a lot more at the high school level than middle and elementary.
Any questions on school fundraisers?
Can we just have a minute to finish?
Pardon me?
I didn't look at all of this earlier. Could I have a minute to just quickly
Okay.
leaf through it?
Okay.
Thank you. have a lot of schools.
We do,
It's a lot of reading, a lot of scanning.
we do. Any other questions on school fundraisers? We will need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Been moved and second that we approve the school fundraisers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0.
Dr.
And
Ball,
yours?
can we keep these?
Yes, ma'am?
Okay, just asking.
And you're still on board?
Yes, sir. Standards of quality verification. Each summer, our school division staff review and submit our standards of quality compliance and verification report for the previous school year to the Virginia Department of Education. In your notebooks, you have the 8 standards that are reviewed, and I've also provided you with the question-by-question responses for each of those. Additionally, there's a section of non-standards that we are asked to review and certify as accurate as well. Before I can submit them to the Department of Education, we have to have certification, and we ask for your approval of that verification report before submission.
Can I ask a question? Like, how do you know we've met these, or how do we know we've met these?
So, we've met these based on our responses, and so Dr. Shiflett and I spent the summer moving standard by standard, reviewing those. Most are a matter of our course and routine with our strategic planning and the textbooks adoptions, formal reviews that we do. If there's a question, which we did have a few this year, that we were asked to provide information we hadn't in the past, I checked with Mr. Lotz and Dr. Melton because they were specifically related to the work that they do.
I guess it's pretty lofty standards for us to say yes without, I'm not objecting to it, I'm just saying, I don't have the evidence for some of these.
So I guess if you have questions after this evening, we can work to provide some details related to that. This is an annual routine. The standards of quality are addressed as we put together our budget. There's funding associated with that.
When you submit this, do you submit this with a report on how we've met these?
This particular, are yes or no answers.
Okay.
Any other questions on the SOQ verification? We will need a motion, I think, certifying that we,
Yes, please. Your approval of the certification of the 23-24
Okay.
Standards of Quality Verification Report to DOE.
okay. We'll need a motion to that effect.
So moved. Second.
Second. It's been moved and second that we certify the verification report as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
I'll abstain from voting.
Okay. One abstention, motion carries 6-0 with one abstention.
Thank you.
Okay? Mr. Lotz?
Dr. Dickel, too.
Electric fans, or who's doing that?
Tag team it.
Mr.
Dr.
Shiflett,
Nickum.
we'll defer to Dr. Nickum with some opening comments.
All right.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you, Board, for allowing me to speak on the solar EVAN program that was presented to us several months ago by Ford. Solar EVAN program is an opportunity to reach students in far-out locations of the division. I've looked at 2 areas, particularly in the Buffalo Gap District and the Riverheads District, that I think would benefit by having 2 vans going to these far-out locations. And to me, it's not so much of an electric van as just having a van. As you know, I presented in the past, Ford has stopped making the 10-passenger vans, and the gas models are going all 12 to 15-passenger vans, and it's very difficult to get the 10-passenger vans and gas models. Last fall, I was looking, I found one in Atlanta, Georgia, and one in New Jersey. Those are the closest ones that I could find from the gas van perspective. So this program offers a great opportunity for a employee of one of the schools in that area. It offers a $1,000 incentive for the employee to drive an electric van to go pick up students morning and drop off in the afternoons. The program will also install an electric charging station at the driver's place of residence and also at the school that the van will be parked at during the school day. The two areas that I've identified is the Marble Valley Road drive that is out past Deerfield. I drove that last week personally in a car, and it was 40 minutes one way to get to the last residence. It's right on the Rockbridge County line. And so by going there with a bus, our bus driver last year, he starts the bus up at 5:30 in the morning from Churchville and goes to the Marble Valley Road. It takes about an hour and a half on the bus one way to get there. By allowing a van to go to this residence and Marble Valley Road and also Shenandoah Mountain Road towards the west, towards Highland County, it'll save 45 minutes from a bus trip for those students. So I think it'd be beneficial for a van to go out to that area first and foremost if this program is approved. And it's 9 students that we need to pick up in that area. And it would actually, like I said, save 45 minutes from the bus. But there's also 13 turnarounds for that school bus on back mountain roads and tight roads. It's very dangerous. So I think the safest way is to put safest transport is allow a van to go out to that area. And the second area we've looked at is the Walker's Creek, Herman Road, Mount Herman Road area, and that's another Rockbridge border in the Riverheads district. So if this program is approved, then the van would leave the Greenville area and go out to the Walker's Creek, Mount Herman Road area. It'll save that bus route 30 minutes, and we'll be picking up 7 students in that area. Again, back windy country roads, very narrow, very dangerous for a bus to go up. So I think this would be a program that we'd like to try and pilot, and it also save.
We will also realize additional savings by not having to run the standard buses when we can use the e-vans. So we're already under budget if things hold true to course. On our fuel line, that would more than offset the cost of the leasing on an annual basis. Be glad to try to answer any questions you would have on the financial perspective.
I've got a couple questions. It's not the financial aspect. The home charging unit, so is that going to be installed by Augusta County Schools, or do we have a company that's going to install that into a home? And if we're installing that, if that driver decides not to drive anymore, or for whatever reason they're terminated, do we repossess that as a county property? And is there any liability to the school if there's a fire, by the installation to their home?
The installation would be administered through Secure Solar Futures at the driver's home. And any increased electrical cost to the homeowner would be offset through this plan. If the driver were to resign or decide not to continue to drive, then that charging station would be relocated to another driver's home.
And so any liability would be on the company for the installation if there's a fire or anything like that, correct?
Yeah, through the installers.
Okay.
Liability coverage, yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I have one question. What is the lifespan of the batteries on these vans? The expected lifespan?
10 years?
10 years?
For the duration?
10 years. The e-vans, the mileage on the e-vans, they go up to 126 miles
I think that's important to note as well. The Deerfield route is, I believe, 25 miles, and then the Walker Street route is 15 miles. So I was concerned about the mileage and seeing if the electric van would make it to and from, and they have plenty of radius there, so.
I think another potential added advantage is if it's a short, small local field trip during the day. If Churchville needed to borrow it to take 9 kids to Project Groves, which is just up the street for a field trip, we could do that without running a diesel bus or because our vans are so much in competition for field trips, and this is another opportunity for us to do small local field trips if need be. We just have to make sure, Dr. Nickel have to make sure that that van has to be back by dismissal because that's that child's way home. So, but if it's, in the middle of the day, a short run here locally for a little field trip, we can still use it for that as well if it's got the charge. That's a potential another little bonus.
And then if there were power outages in very rural areas, you said the trips were what did you tell me, 15 miles, or it would be 30 round trip and
25. 25 miles to Deerfield Run and 15.
so it'd be 30 and 50 miles?
Yes.
So there should be enough juice to get back to the school if
Enough
there
charge,
was
yes, ma'am.
power at the school.
We've talked, Dr. Nickham and his team have talked, it's gotta be contingency. And we have that anyway. If a bus breaks down, we have a contingency. If a van breaks down, we have a contingency. So we'll have contingency plans. If something goes wrong, we always have a plan B. So he's already talked to his team what that plan B might look like.
Yeah, we would treat it just like if a bus driver's sick and not making that route that morning, we'd have a bus to pick those children up.
Any other questions concerning the vans? We will need a motion. The recommendation is to lease the vans, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The recommendation from staff is to do a 10-year lease on 2 vans.
5-year lease, I believe. Right, Mr. Watts?
How long is the lease?
5 years.
We own it after 5.
We would own it after 5.
We own it after 5.
5
Okay.
years, yeah.
Well, total of 10 years, but
For the
the
life.
lease is for 5. Okay, and that's at, what, 174,000?
Yes, sir.
That'd be total for the lease.
Yeah, total for the lease. Any other questions?
I make a motion that we approve the electric vans as presented.
Okay. We moved and seconded, we approve the lease for the vans, for 2 vans, 2 10-passenger vans. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nickel.
I would like to take this time, a little positive encouragement, thank the board members for the added salary increase for bus drivers and also the dual employment opportunities. We've added 27 bus drivers this summer in Augusta County Schools. So thank you guys for all your support there. 9 of those of which are dual employment, either a custodian, an aide, or a teacher, took up on that opportunity with VRS contribution. So thank you. Now, we've lost 8 drivers due to health and resignation issues, but we were very excited about this. So 27 drivers, we've added drivers from Albemarle, Rockingham, and Waynesboro districts. So the word is out, and thank you guys for our support there.
Thank you so much for being so on top of this, Dr. Nickham. I think this is a kind of a thinking outside of the box kind of thing with the vans. I'm real excited about this.
Thank you.
Will that eliminate
But the kids are.
some or all of the second, third runs?
Not all of the double runs, but all the triple runs, yes, sir. Yeah, we've eliminated that, and now we're consolidating for double runs as well.
Was the
Yes, sir.
salary what pulled them from those jurisdictions?
Excuse me?
Was the salary increase, is that what pulled them from the other jurisdictions, from Albemarle County?
We didn't specifically ask.
Okay.
But I'm sure it had something to do with it, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Staff reports, Dr. Bond.
Yes, thank you. My only report tonight are dates of interest. I'll go through the month of August and September very quickly. First of all, an event on August 2nd, this Friday, that we're very proud of. It's our annual Stand Augusta Waynesboro Style Clothing Closet at Wilson Middle School. That'll be from noon until 6 p.m. I encourage you to stop by there. That is a great day. Our social workers do a marvelous job getting that organized, getting donations, and so we got a little positive press last night as well, I saw on Channel 3. So if you can stop by, it's a great event, and again, hats off to our social workers and our Student Services Department for putting that together. Also, again, similar to tonight, we have the ribbon cutting ceremony for Riverheads Middle School that Friday, August 2nd at 5 o'clock. It'll be a very similar format than what we did tonight at Buffalo Gap Middle School. So we'll do the ceremony at 5, and then open house will be from 5:30 to 7:30 there at the new Riverheads Middle School. Tax-free weekend is coming up, August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and that is our collaborative effort with the United Way and the Stuff the Bus. Those will be at the Stanton and Waynesboro Walmarts. We have a ton of people that are volunteering to help with that event. So again, encourage you, if you have time, stop by one of the Walmarts and help stuff the bus. So August 7th is our first day of school. Moving to August 20th, we have our annual Virginia Education, actually that's Valley Alliance for Education reception. That'll be at the Plecker Center. That's to give all the Creative Classroom Grant winners their grants and have a celebration. So that's at the Plecker Center. That reception will be from 5:30 to 7:30 on August the 20th. And then August 27th, I'll have we'll start back on our monthly meeting with the Augusta County Education Association's leadership. That'll be August 27th at 4 o'clock. Moving into September, September 2nd is Labor Day, so it's a holiday for all staff and students. September 5th is your regular school board meeting, 7 o'clock. September 17th, have Region 5 Superintendent's meeting hosted by Louisa County. September 18th, we have our first Valley Career and Technical Center board meeting at 11, and then the Governor's School Steering Committee at 1 o'clock on September 18th. September 24th, again, my monthly meeting with the ACA leadership. September 25th, the evening, that is the Dalvin Award celebration. September 25th at 7 o'clock. I'm not sure the location yet, but as soon as I know, I'll get that information out to you. And then September 30th through October 1st is the Superintendent's Professional Conference. So that's all the dates of interest I have, sir. Oh, my apologies. I think also in your packet on page 2, instead of a fine arts calendar at this point, we do have all of the back-to-school open house events that are listed for you. So I believe that's fairly accurate with dates and times for each one of our schools. So again, the back-to-school open house events for your information. Now, Mr. Chairman, I believe that's all I have.
Okay. Dr. Melton.
The instructional department just wanted to give an update to the board on some of the summer learning that has been happening within our department and for our teachers this summer. It's been a very, very active summer in preparation for the implementation of the Virginia Literacy Act this fall. So the very first thing is the Virginia Literacy Partnership Administrative Training Series. A lot of our reading specialists and reading teachers went through trainings throughout the year, and over the summer there was a specific administrative training series. So all of our elementary and middle school administrators, along with members of the instructional staff, took part in those trainings for implementation for the VLA this school year. We've also had multiple sessions throughout this summer to provide our elementary teachers training and exploration of the new K-5 ELA curriculum, Benchmark Advanced. In addition, we had several staff members who were chosen to present at conferences and professional learning opportunities. We had an Augusta County team chosen to present at the VASCD Work-Based Learning Conference in July. So Michael Teddo, our CTE supervisor, Crystal Hanger, who's the principal at Wilson High School, and Lindsay Walsh, who's our work-based learning teacher at Fort Defiance High School, represented our division and talked specifically about our approach to work-based learning and how to meet students' needs where they are, rather than trying to kind of fit the square peg in the round hole, so to speak. So we were really proud of those teammates being able to go and present and showcase what we are doing as a division. We also had our second annual STEM Expo. This is part of our Voice and Choice series of professional learning. Our technology department hosts this event. We're very proud of this. This is something that comes from directly teacher feedback and student data. It's hosted and put on by our instructional coaches, ITRTs, instructional supervisors, and teachers. Again, very instructionally driven and aligned specifically to Augusta County needs, and our focus on blended learning and how technology enhances our instruction. Again, this was a half-day event and very exciting, and we had close to 200 participants, so that was a fantastic day. We also had our preschool and early childhood instructional team was able to attend, and Julie McClamrock, who is our instructional supervisor for preschool early childhood, was a presenter at the Creating Connections to Shining Stars, which is the VDOE Early Childhood Conference this summer. So again, another team from our instructional department that got to participate and present at a professional learning opportunity. In addition to those, we have offered 3 4-day training sessions during the month of July for Responsive Classroom, which is the approach to building positive community within your classroom, positive student engagement. 2 sessions were offered to elementary level staff with 30 attendants each session, and we had 1 session for middle and high school level staff, again with 30 attendants at that session. This is something that we have been doing over the past few years to promote, again, positive community and relationship building within our classrooms as part of our core instructional approach. This year, we also were able to offer 2 one-day sessions that focus on positive teacher-student language in the classroom, again, to build positive relationships from the start. This was offered to a mix of all levels, and we had 25 participants at each session. We, in addition to that, offered our new ACPS elementary teachers. They participated in the one-day Responsive Classroom introductory course as part of their new teacher orientation last week. And then we are now kicking off our official back-to-school pre-service or in-service week, starting yesterday with all of our teachers back in the buildings for some school-level meetings and welcome back and workshops. And then today kicked off the first division level day with several teacher groups working with instructional supervisors, and that will continue through next week until the doors open officially next Wednesday. Thank you. I just wanted to give an update. We've been busy.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Troxel, personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your blue folders this evening, I have 2 items for your approval. The first is the personnel action. I will give you a minute to look that over, and again, we'll just say that if there are any questions, I'm happy to discuss those in your closed session, and we can exclude that by number before approving.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the personnel action as presented.
Second.
Moved and second that we approve personnel action as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. The other item in your packet is the new staff that we have hired for Augusta County Schools for the 2024-25 school year. These are alphabetized by school and include all contracted positions. It is an extensive list, so I will give the appropriate wait time, and of course, if we need to exclude or come back to this later, we can. I will share with you that on average, we have been hiring about 10 fewer employees and 10 fewer teachers each year, but because of the work that you've done in your salary scales, we've hired more bus drivers, we've hired more speech language pathologists, and we've opened 2 new middle schools. So we're up about 10 total employees and 10 teachers. So wanted to add that
Dr. Troxel, what's the total number of new employees?
Total number of employees is roughly 1,700
Full-time.
full-time.
We're closer to 2,000, right, Mark, with part-time employees as well?
Thank you.
Well, that's pretty good, opening 2 new schools and only being up about 10 employees. That's pretty good.
We worked really hard to place everyone, and
Yeah,
really excited to open those 2 new schools.
absolutely. Okay, we can handle this one of 2 ways. We can either come back to it, or would like to have a motion to accept the new hires, so we can get them on board and get them moving. They've all been vetted through Dr. Troxel.
I do have a question. Do we hire enough speech and language folks to not have it done via Zoom or whatever they were doing?
I'm going to defer to Ms. Thorpe. She's asking, did we hire enough to not have to contract any?
Still have, we are still contracting, both in-person and virtual, but we are down to, I think, 3 virtual, and all, vertical teams, all elementary, at least all elementaries have at least 1 in-person, speech language pathologist.
And did we lose several?
Did we lose several virtual?
No. Did we lose several in-house speech and language folks this year?
No, ma'am.
No,
Not this year.
we only gained.
So this is a cause for celebration.
Yes, ma'am.
Were there classes added per grade level at any of the schools? Like, say, Clymore, did they go from 5 to 6 sections of any grade level?
So most all of our schools maintained level staffing, but they may have adjusted within the school. So maybe we had 5 third-grade teachers this past year, but we need 5 fourth-grade teachers next year. So we give the principals the autonomy to take their FTEs and shift them. So we did not add new staff to many schools, if any.
We do keep a careful track of kindergarten, because we haven't
Right.
seen those kids. If we have a bump of kindergarten in the register, then we could add new staff at that point.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the new hires?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the new hires. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, board members, and Mr. Simmons, we'll start with you.
I'd just like to say it was a great turnout today, and it was a well-put-on event. I appreciate the staff, and, Dr. Bond, thank you for everything. That's all I got.
Mr. Ward?
Just been interesting, keeping track of these middle school developments and the people that are in them. It's really looking good. I just applaud our division and what they have done, and I think the communities are going to be tremendously proud of these middle schools.
Mr. Schwartzel?
I do not have anything.
Ms. Griffin?
Let's see. I did attend the technology half-day, I think it was, and that was excellent. So I thank the tech team for that. I do have 2 things. I'd like to suggest that, and I've talked to some folks earlier about it, that a board member be on the safety, whatever it's called, crisis and safety team, that we consider that. I was told in January to add a board member onto that team. And then the second thing I'd like the board to seriously consider is before we do next year's calendar, and it may have already be in progress, knowing how far advanced we have to do that, we would do a new survey of staff and parents. And I've heard some teachers say, golly, I'm going back to school in July. So I just think it would be a good time to relook at that. This seems extremely early to start school, and pools closed. I've heard people complaining about that. So you've got the whole month of August without pools open, and there's just a lot of issues. So I would like to ask the board to consider having a new survey of folks, constituents, and staff about next year's calendar.
Mr. Lawson.
I just have a couple things. One, the new schools are awesome, and so I'm looking forward to the opening, and thanks to everyone who put a lot of hard work into that. And thanks to the teachers and staff for the summer work that you put in to make this happen. It just doesn't happen on the first day, so I know it's a lot of work over the summertime, and thank you all for that. And also, one last thing is the Commonwealth conversation that we attended this morning at Kate Collins Middle School was very well done, and a lot of great feedback from everybody that attended from different school systems, and regarding the cell phone executive order. So I thought that was very productive today, and was thankful to be there.
Ms. Wells?
I would just like to say that tonight has been so exciting and so long. We waited so long for this. And I also want to thank Dr. Bond's staff. I think some of us, me in particular, sit back during the summer thinking, oh, there's nothing to do. And you all are just working. And the in-services, the preparation for the teachers to come back has just been incredible. And so thank you all so very much.
Okay, I've got a couple of things. Attended the bus drivers meeting, and the only thing I can say is we need some younger bus drivers, but that's okay. And I did hear a lot of good comments about the increased pay. There were quite a few of the bus drivers that were, very appreciative of that, and we were able to work down a lot of our double runs, and they were appreciative of that as well. I know several of us attended new teacher orientation, and I think that went over very well. It was a really nice group of new teachers, and they all seem to be excited to get started in their new profession. So, Dr. Troxell, I know you worked long and hard to get us these new folks, and we appreciate it. And I think we've got something to offer here in Augusta County to draw some people in. Visited Fort Defiance High School, met with Mr. Shaw and Supervisor Slavin. The comment I'll have there is that, man, that school looked nice. That old terrazzo floor was shining like I haven't seen it shine in years. You could about see your face in it. So, Mr. Troxell, your crew is doing a good job. They were still working on it when I was down there. They were down in the cafeteria, and they were shining floors and I don't know what all else, but the school looked really nice from what I saw. Do we have a need for a closed session?
Yes, I think that was requested for personnel.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the specific matters A1 personnel.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We will meet where?
We're going to the office conference room. If you go to the main office of the door, Dr. Marshall will lead us down to the end of the hall in his conference room.
Thank you.
Okay.